What is going on is Goldboys live with Josh and Brad. As always, we thank our sponsors, Hall of Fame Bets, Pickett Sports, and Sleeper Picks. It is a good day. Not much baseball, but there's a football game on tonight, and that's always a good feeling to talk about. So, how are you guys doing?
Pretty good. I made a humbling post today that I might need another week before I settle in for the NFL. The NFL is always funny too because like I am 100% a data guy. When I watch sports, like I'm not watching. I am watching to see what the teams are doing, but like I'm watching them to see how the numbers match up, like my expectation. And with limited data and basically no preseason action for these guys, it's really difficult to think to be confident in knowing what these guys are going to do.
Yeah, I'll tell you right here, right now, talking about data. I posted earlier in the Goldboys Discord. If you don't want to cap football, but you just want some action on Sunday, Nico Collins, guys, over 45.5 receiving yards is like my favorite bet so far this week. It's the first one I locked in. Talk about data.
I
11
want to hear
targets
that.
last week.
Yeah. I want to hear this
11
data.
targets. 11 targets last week. Four of them were 15 or more of air yards, which is like the same as AJ Brown and Justin Jefferson last week.
Yeah,
He just
really
gets.
nice.
I mean, they're playing a fast pace. They threw the ball 44 times. Obviously, they might not do it this week, but I think Nico Collins is just such a good, overall receiver. And with that connection with a CJ, it's that getting a line under 50 for a guy that just played 70% of snaps, ran a lot of targets, a lot of routes, and then also played 70% of the snaps overall. It's the first thing I locked in when I saw that line open.
I like that a lot. I drafted him in just about every league
I
because
have him in all three of my
he
leagues. Yeah.
yeah, he was in the best position of prime for a breakout. He's was a preseason target favorite already of CJ Stroud. And obviously, if they're going to be losing, they're going to be throwing the ball more.
Yeah.
Are they going to
The-
be? I mean, I do like the Colts. I think there's still pretty good money on the Colts. They're minus or they're still +1. Does that make sense to anybody? You guys like the Texans in this one?
No, I like the
Yeah.
Colts.
I like Nico Collins, and I don't really care about the side. I don't want to try to. I don't want to try to break down these two rookie quarterbacks in the second game. I don't even
It
know if I
helps
want to
if
get
you're.
into
It
that.
helps if you. It just helps if you think they're going to be losing because
Well,
they
yeah,
can't run the
obviously. I think
ball.
I also think if it's neutral game script would be fine as well because they don't have to be down a lot to get him the ball. I don't think.
They don't. My fear would be they're not going to air it out with a rookie quarterback when you know what I mean. If they're in the game and they have such a good run game, they have a really nice two-headed monster in the backfield. Like I would say, you keep running the ball, but I do think they're going to be losing. So I'm actually like trying to support your bet with that logic a
No,
bit.
yeah, I agree with
You
that. I'm
know,
just saying that he had, I think 80 yards last week. I just think it's too low. It's one of those ones where I bet it as soon as it came out. If it loses, it loses. But yeah, 45.5.
That's
yeah,
fair.
that's fair. Did you guys watch any of that? Did you see how CJ Stroud looked?
I watched it, but I will tell you this.
Yeah, he looked great.
I will tell you this. I spent half the game watching, trying to figure out where Will Anderson was, just to realize that he changed his number. I was like, is he not going to play a single play? And obviously, I'm not watching it with the sound on. You can't see the little itty bitty writing on the bar
Yeah.
screen. I'm like squinting. I'm like, did he get benched? And then I finally realized he he changed his number.
Yeah, that's a rough one. Yeah, I do think it'll be a fun time because you mentioned it too. It's like if that might not be airing it out. I'll tell you one thing. That's kind of why I like the angle I was talking about earlier too. Is a big body receivers can be really helpful for rookie quarterbacks that sometimes can feel safe just kind of putting it in a guy that can maybe just go up and get a ball. Maybe not the best choice at times, but
Yeah.
I mean we saw Matthew Stafford make half a career out of just throwing the ball up to a guy with the big vertical.
Yeah, I mean, we saw we saw Matthew Stafford do a lot. I do have I'm going to be targeting Amon Ra in this one as well. I guess that's Seahawks secondary. Like, I don't know. I mean, Matt Stafford looking as good as he did, just airing the ball out, be able to throw it down the field, really like ton of air yards. Had some bad throws even. I think he led the league. Yeah, he was tied with like three other dudes with like 10 bad throws that it was like 30% of his throws were bad throws, and he had 335 yards where it's like a
Yeah.
dude is open enough and you couldn't get it to him. So do you guys want to run through this tonight's game though and kind of get some bets out if you're looking at anything for Thursday
Yeah,
night? 'Cause
I'm all for that, but I
what about AJ
before
Brown? That's where I would start. Like I'm looking at Jalen Hurts to go bananas. I would take him over 1.5 TDs. I would be targeting all these Philly wide receivers as well. to get yards and to get touchdowns, especially touchdowns. I see it like one of those games where last year the Eagles come out, they score a ton of touchdowns in the first half. They're up like 31-20 or whatever
Yeah.
it is, like 21-6 or whatever in the first half, and then they kind of just slow down in the second after getting one more touchdown.
So
So get it early.
if you follow our guy DJ and Eli in the Discord or overall on the shows, he has this new DJ analytics he has where you sent it to me and Ryan earlier. That apparently AJ Brown ran 170, had 171 yards of air yards. He has a catch percent of 70%, and by his projections, he could have had close to a 200-yard game with some of these air yard routes. So I do like that. The one guy I bet on, I told Brad earlier this week, as soon as the line came out, I took Dallas Goedert for over 38.5 yards and over 41.5 yards. On the stat sheet, he had one target last week, but I'm sorry, it was a throwaway that they just like felt bad for him and gave him a target. He was wide open for like the four huge plays, and Jalen Hurts just misread the defense. I think he watches the film, and I don't think he misses those kind of reads again. So I do like Dallas Goedert a lot in this one. I honestly pick a receiver for the Eagles,
That's
and I like
insane.
their overs. But we talked about last year between AJ Brown, Devonta Smith, and Dallas Goedert. Sometimes you're going to have to pick one of them because at any single point they're
Yeah.
all just so good that you can make a case for any of them either each week.
Yeah, and the number on AJ Brown went down as opposed to those other two pass catchers from 38 to 47. Looks like consensus for Goddard, for AJ Brown, 73 to looks like consensus 72,
Yep.
and then Smith 62 to a consensus 64 and a half.
I think we
Yeah.
talked about with Will last week with Josh Allen. I took him over 35.5 rush yards, and then Will, uh, in spite of me, took the under because the line moved too much, and we both won on it. Same with Dallas Goddard. I mean, the key, like I say on these shows, is I've actually have not given out a stale number on this show yet, but it's one of those things where it happens. Dallas Goddard went for 30.5. I think he's 49.5 now. So sometimes these lines, you got to get on them and got to get them out quick because they will move on you a lot throughout the week.
Yeah, I can feel that. I mean, the thing with Goddard is the only logic that we're really using is that he was ignored last week. I mean, I'm fine with that. I think wide receivers proved though as well, right? Like, I mean, Hockenson was all right, I suppose, in last week's game. I'm not Hockenson, sorry. I'm talking about the new tight end for the Bucks in terms of taking on the Viking secondary. But it's like their defensive secondary is just weak as hell. Their linebackers still aren't bad. I mean, if Devin White's out there, they're still a really solid unit. So that's why I'm a little bit more tempted to go at the wide receivers. But
Yeah.
I'm not going to tell you not to take a small number like that on Goddard. Once it gets to 50 and a half, I get a little bit scared. And I
Oh
think
yeah.
the market pushed it to the right spot,
I'll say this: the other counter I have there is just like last year. I mean, he didn't go back to back weeks without having 6 targets. So I just think
Yeah.
that's one of those things where. And my biggest thing I was kind of talking about. I know Prop Bet Guy. I know Brad's big on it with him on Twitter as well. He's also on Goddard. We had a phone call just talking about it too. Where I'll say this: Dallas Goddard, as much as he will be lined up with the linebacker, he just is so versatile. They can really line him up anywhere. So I think there's gonna be some kind of conscious effort to get him the ball. So. I mean, I wouldn't hate anybody for taking any AJ Brown props. I love AJ Brown as well in this game. I just think it'd be one of those fun games to watch until you get to Thursday Night Football, and then it's like 3-3 after the third quarter, and you question all your life decisions because it was supposed to be this high flying game, and it never seems to turn out that way.
Yeah.
I agree with Goddard. I'll throw some supporting stats out there. Goddard was he has the opportunity, 93.8 snap share, 33 routes run, route participation was 100%. So basically, when they were passing the ball, he was out there running routes. So that generally helps you opportunity. We talk about that a lot on this show. So I locked in Dallas Goddard at the open. And my number for my open was pretty crap. It was 33 and a half.
Okay, yeah.
Oh, no. It was 38 and a half. That's why I opened. And I played the alt line of 33.
I like that. Yep, that's nice. I do think this would be a fun game. I
Has
also
this total
think that
ever,
there's
or not total, but has the spread eclipsed 6.5 where it's at right now for the most part?
it's moving closer to
7
Minnesota.
is.
Yeah.
Wait, no, it moved the other way.
When I checked, there was some places that had 6s from Minnesota.
Yeah, because you got the Philly at -105 at 6.5 on
It was 6. It was 6 earlier, and then now I've seen it kind of bounce back.
Yeah,
I
it
don't
did.
know
Yeah, okay, so
Why?
it did bounce back 6.5.
Yeah.
Well, no, it was 6 this morning when I checked.
Yeah,
So it
that's
is
what I'm
6 and a
saying. It was 6 this morning. Yeah, I'm
yeah, yeah.
agreeing with you. It's looking like it's moving back, like, on FanDuel, it's moving back, DraftKings is moving back. Basically, like, the main retail books are moving back to the 6.5.
I like it. Yeah,
Yeah.
I mean, I kind of still like it. I mean, if you want to throw them in a
I lean
teaser
six and a
anywhere,
half.
yeah.
I lean 6.5. My only problem is I get afraid the injury report wasn't clean
Not at
for
all.
for either team, but for the Vikings losing two offensive linemen, well, one's out, one's questionable. That's still scary with this D line for the Eagles. That's the only thing that held me off. I do lean it. I posted my channel as a lean. I haven't even officially bet it myself, but I know people always want to know like where you're leaning, just so they can see if they align, and then it gives them a little bit more
So your lean is
reassurance.
Minnesota.
My lean's Minnesota. Yes, I think this is going to be a closer game than a lot of people are going to suggest. Generally, the week one overreaction is real. Minnesota loses game one as a favorite, as a what a 6 point favorite
Five and
at
a
the
half,
open,
five,
five
five
and
and
a
a half,
half.
6, I
Yeah.
think. I think they were.
So I think there's an adjustment, especially with teams not wanting to go 0-2. Eagles covered the spread in a game where they probably shouldn't have covered the spread. I thought like while watching that game, I was like, there was a lot of times when I had Eagles spread where I was like really shitting bricks.
I
Yeah,
wanted
no,
to go
we
Pats because it was one of those things where it was like I felt like that was a good opportunity. But the 4.5, I was like, watch this game end at 5. Just watch it end at 5 points, 5 or 6
yeah.
points, some kind of baloney like that because the Eagles are going to do what they do around the goal line, maybe go for a 2 point conversion here there. Jake Elliott had a ton of field goals, obviously, which was what held them up. But that Pats defense is nice. I think it's one of those things where like the top just gets blown off of this offense that's been trying to go crazy and wanted to do what he didn't throw the ball downfield barely at all last year. Hurts, like he had one of the shortest air yards per attempt in the league last week. So like, I think he's ready to just like get the ball out and be throwing it downfield to Smith and Brown. And I would feel good about their point total specifically. I think that's the bet I feel most comfortable about if I'm betting a side in any kind here. It's more Eagles points and that as a team prop rather than anything. So I don't mind. Like I don't love 6.5, and that's why I'm going to put them in a couple teasers and get them down to just basically pick them, and then feel pretty good about their points in this one at like 20. What is 24.5?
Yeah.
20? No, closer to 27.5. Yeah. So
I'll tell you one thing, guys. The one thing I like to have, I don't like to have too much action on a standalone game for obviously reasons for prime time. Double that for Eagles games just because I don't want to get too into a game I'm already invested in a lot. But I am desperately waiting for a single book to set a line for DeAndre Swift receiving yards. There is there is zero lines out there for it, and I would love just to get one book, just one brave book to try to put one out because I mean without Gainwell, I mean who else is going to be the guy that's going to be that check down or screen pass threat?
yeah, Brad, do you like Swift this week?
I don't know what
No,
Brian was saying. I had lost him.
Do you like
I
DeAndre Swift this week?
Yeah, I think
receiving
he's
yards.
solid, especially with Gainwell being out. I mean, if you're playing DeAndre Swift, as the Eagles, you're gonna have to use his best skill set, and that's throwing the ball. So
Yeah, I
you
just
know,
said I was saying I was pissed off that no one
I'm
was
gonna jump out and come back in so I can hear.
all right, that works. I was gonna say as I checked our sponsor Picket Sports, he did open on some books at 15.5 minus 110. And I think I might do like a half unit there. I think I don't see how he doesn't get at least 3 targets in this offense without Gainwell.
That's fair. I can't believe you can't find a line for that yet. But I mean,
No,
there's
I
so
just
many.
said that they just set one. I mean, I checked before the show and there was no lines anywhere, but
Gotcha.
I just checked Picket Sports. The MGM has it 15.5 at minus 110. I was
Good.
hoping for anything under 20, so I think 15.5 is a great line.
Yeah, 15 and a half MGM, 15 and a half at DraftKings. Um,
So
who else throws it?
would you say that it's worth like a half unit at least because it's still uncertain, but I don't know how he doesn't get the ball at least 3 times out of the backfield.
Yeah.
Yeah, I would probably wait for the alt line and play 20, but I mean,
Yeah.
you might be screwed if you wait
It's
because
a weird game because I would like to wait for plus money at 20, but then for all we know, by the time I wait, it'll be 20.5 for the regular
yeah,
line. His
yeah, I
receptions
agree.
is 2.5 plus 120.
Hmm.
I'd probably lean yards and hope he breaks
Yeah.
one.
Starting to feel weird about 28 points for the Eagles on a Thursday night game. I'm starting to feel that Thursday night weirdness creeping in as well with the short week for them. But I do feel like they want to blow the lid off of that offense, and maybe it's just an ugly, boring game where one team scores 31 and the other one is like 13, something to that effect. Because I could see this Eagles defense playing well, but how do you guys cap the offense for Minnesota?
I think there's gonna be a lot of complacency for the Eagles offense. And I don't mean that in like a really negative way. I just mean they're gonna go like this year is about getting your business done and then winning games. Doesn't matter about style points because you're good. So for me, it's gonna be hard for me to kind of handicap them this year.
Yeah.
That's fair.
Do you guys want to do any more football plays, or you got some baseball stuff?
Let's talk some baseball real
Yeah,
quick. I want to give out mine.
I'm just kind of going out on a couple of limbs here. I'm looking at some batting props, which I feel like we don't talk about that much because we're not the Dinger show here. But I do think on a small slate, I'm looking at Yastrzemski to bat well for the Giants in Colorado, and he's crushed. Basically, who we have Chase Anderson on the mound. So I think that's a pretty solid opportunity for Yastrzemski to come in. He's been crushing that side of the plate this year as well. So if you want him at a home run, you can get it plus 370 on DraftKings. I also like 2 total bases for him because you get that at plus 115. But yeah, this is going to be a moment in time. He's crushed at Coors Field. That was the first thing that really drew me to Yaz. He's played there 27 times and has 10 home runs in those 27 games, slashing 312 or batting 312 and then 400 on the slug. So I mean I think he's pretty good to get one out there, but I like the total bases for him in that game. Just looking at some offense in Colorado.
I like 2 plays that I already locked in, and there's 2 that I need to shop. So I'll tell you the 2 that I already locked in. I took Bradish. I only wanted to play plus money for these, so give me 30 seconds. I took Bradish. I think it was 6.5 at plus 102 over 6.5 Ks against the Rays. The Rays have been striking out a ton. Like Joe Ryan hit his strikeout prop for 7. Even Sonny Gray got 5 against them. Miller got 7. Castillo got like 8. They've been striking out a ton recently, and this is going to be one of those games where I think both teams are going to be swinging for the fences. And what I mean by that is they're going to be chasing a lot more, especially with the Rays being behind in the standings. And the Orioles haven't been playing in there. It's just only been like 2 games, but they haven't played that great. So I think they're going to be chasing 2 if you want to parlay any Rays pitchers. But that's one. And then my other one was Perez from the Marlins over 6.5 strikeouts plus 115. His numbers like in actual strikeouts don't correlate 100%, which is why I wanted to take the plus 115 instead of the minus 160 for 5.5 strikeouts. But I mean, he got kind of like when he came back, he was like shoving, right? Like had like 7 Ks through like 3 innings or some crazy 2 innings or some crazy like 3 innings or something like that, right? And then he just kind of unraveled and has been unraveling since there. But the Brewers strike out a lot and he's got good stuff. So I think that getting plus money for this instead of laying minus 160 is a little bit more value, even though it's an entire extra pitch. The other 2 lines that I like, I have to shop them, so I didn't lock them in. I like Merrill Kelly over 17.5 pitching outs. Only best line I found right now is minus 140. I want to see if I can find something better than that against the Mets. Mets bats aren't that hot. Kelly's gone 6 back-to-back. And then Senga has basically been over 17.5 pitching outs. He's basically been that monster. He's been their ace since they made the trades. And the only reason he didn't hit in like his last outing is he had 4 walks. Like he's not really like a 4-walk kind of pitcher. So I like Senga. Maybe if you want to reduce the juice, you take him like, I don't know if 5Ks fits inside my handicap, but maybe you take him 5Ks on the alt line.
Yeah, that's gonna be worse money. But yeah, I mean the way he loses is if he does walk. Honestly, that would be how he gets himself into trouble.
No. What I'm saying is you take 5Ks on the alt line and parlay it with his outs.
Oh, okay, yeah.
That'll give you plus money if you don't want to lay the
yeah. And I'm saying the only way I feel like the only way he screws that up for you is if he walks guys, and then he screws up the outs bet a little bit more because he could probably get 6 Ks, 5 Ks in 4 innings, 3. He's got a nice K per 9 right now. But yeah, that's my guy. I'm with you on targeting him. So.
Nice.
I got one more baseball player here too, if you want to get in, Brian. But I'm going to go to the Orioles And as we've got Adley Rushman is who I'm taking here in that Rays game. I think that he's going to have some success against Savali. He has been as well. Savali has been overperforming and actually at times overperforming his expected stats basically, but also just sort of underperforming expectations, I would say, for them coming in. So I'm also going 2 total bases on him. Probably a small sprinkle on a home run because you can get it at plus 750. And there's some pretty good stuff in a couple of the models that have him being able to take care of that matchup. So
I wanted to
that
ask you a
game's
question
interesting.
before you go. Sorry, Brian. I want to ask a quick
No, you're fine.
question. How many strikeouts do we think Michael King pitches today? Because I think that it's we can get a good each pitcher from the Yankees to get 5 Ks and parlay them together. Do you think King makes it to 5, or is that a little too
I know Ryan
much?
Props is on 5+. If that's
Okay.
any consolation. I think he took the over 4.5 with a boost.
Okay. I'm gonna parlay them both, King and Hawk, to both get 5 Ks at minus
I
130.
mean, it's so funny because when I saw that Hawk, he opened like 6.5 some books last night, and my first thought was like, man, I would love to take a Hawk under at 6.5. But then you look at this Yankees team, and
Yeah.
they are 29% strikeout rate the last 30 days. Like they are just a minefield. It's one of those things where you just can't even try to fathom how. No matter what the line is, you just look at this 1-9. It is just a gross looking thing to look at.
I'm
it's
about to see
nasty.
what the price is on
King
FanDuel.
scares me a little bit. I know he struck out the Brewers a bunch.
Bro, I bet him in that game to go over his Ks, because I think it was like 3.5 or something, or like
Right.
4.5. He had 9 Ks. I was like,
9.
holy crap.
And he's gotten over 4. He's gotten 4 or more in his last 3. But before that, and even one of those against the Red Sox there at the middle of August, where he gave up. He only had 2 strikeouts, went one inning, and had it faced 8 batters before they took him out.
Yeah.
So that's if he gets crushed, he gets crushed. But if he's pitching somewhat well, getting 4, you said 5 Ks.
5 Ks. Well, maybe I'll drop him down to 4.
Yeah, if you're gonna parlay him,
and then play Hawk 5 Ks. Oh no, it's minus 160. Shoot.
oh jeez.
I have to
There's
do
nothing
5 and
worse than
5.
doing a parlay, like a parlay builder, and then it's loading the price, and then it spits it out, and you're like, oh.
Yeah, I might just do 5 and 5. It's minus 102. I like FanDuel's odds on these right now. It's better than other places. Let's see what DK is offering.
You were mentioning the Rays and the Baltimore game, and I saw a lot of people on this, but man, you can get plus money for Bradish under 6.5 strikeouts, and I get there's so many high strikeout bats on this Rays team right now, the bottom of the lineup.
Where can you get plus money, and what's the number?
It was 6.5, pretty even. Let me check. I haven't checked since this morning, but
I took over 6.5, but I got that plus money. Yeah,
and it's like I agree with it, but it's so crazy because all of a sudden Bradish became a 6.5 guy. I mean,
yeah,
to start the year, his K rate from the first half to second half of the year is crazy. I looked at that and I was just because I was looking to play Bradish's over, and I was convinced I was going to get 5.5, and then I saw 6.5, and I was like, that's a little steep for me.
Yeah.
Let's see, same game parlay, pitcher props. I want to see what King to throw. Oh, we could get King to throw 4 strikeouts. Yo, this is going to be a good price. Come on. Minus 150. 4 strikeouts for King and 5 for Houck. Oh, man. I'm so tempted. Or even money for
You
5
better
and
lock it in
5.
soon. You have 5 minutes.
Holy smokes, really? What time is it?
The game's at 1:35.
Oh, my gosh.
I am going to have the sweat of my life. I took a same game parlay with Josiah Gray or whatever, over 3.5 strikeouts, and Mitch Keller under 5.5. And this Nationals team has like 40 whiffs in the first 4 innings. They're single handedly making me pissed off at 1 p.m. on a Thursday.
I got one more NFL play I want to make sure I got into because I locked it in, which is I'm on Raw. I'm on Raw to get a teeter. Plus 115 at FanDuel. I think that's going to go down a bit. I was talking trash on that Seahawks secondary for a bit. It's actually supposed to be pretty much the strength of its defense, and it looked absolutely terrible. Not being able to pressure the quarterback is huge, but not being able to take advantage of Matt Stafford actually being wildly inaccurate throughout that game and relying on Tutu Atwell and another rookie wide receiver whose name I'm gonna butcher, even though it's not that hard, so I'm not gonna even try it. Um, but like, why not? I think that's going to be all year for Seattle. I've been fading them too. I've been kind of trashing them as a team that is going to kind of recede back to where it should be after last season. So I'm on route to get the teeter at 115 on FanDuel. I think that's going to be closer to even money by the time that game kicks off.
Yeah, I like that. Brad, do you have anything else to add for like any early looks for either college football or NFL before we head out of here?
College football, any early looks that I gave out? No, but I won't be here tomorrow, so let me give out a couple soccer plays.
Go
Liverpool,
for it.
Liverpool to win and both teams to score at plus 160. Um, I don't need to explain that. Over 10 corners in Brighton versus United. That's my favorite look. And then Arsenal -1 at -117.
I understood half of those words, so I appreciate you for throwing those out. Josh, you have anything else to add? I mean, I am tapped out with my Thursday night
No,
football
yeah,
plays
that
and
I
some
got
of
my
the
baseball plays in. I got a couple football plays in. I'm still going to be looking at some more stuff. So definitely putting that stuff out on Twitter and
awesome.
wherever
Yeah,
else.
I mean, and if you guys don't know, I mean, every day here at 1 p.m. Tomorrow, Brad is going to be out because he doesn't really want to hang out with us anymore. But it should be
Fair.
me and Will, and potentially Josh. He's a game time decision that
Game time, yeah.
We're already in the NFL and the NBA terminology for game time decisions. But
Right.
as always, we appreciate everyone that tunes in. We appreciate Hall of Fame bets, sleeper picks, and Picket Sports. And I will see whoever is going to be on tomorrow. We'll see you guys tomorrow.